01, April 25, 1915. Pause. 3 a.m. Pause. The ocean is completely silent. Scene 02. Dozens of small wooden boats are cutting through the dark water, moving slowly, moving quietly. 8,000 young men sit shoulder to shoulder in the dark, rifles across their laps. Nobody speaks. Most of them are 20 years old. Some are younger. They have been told this will be easy. Ahead of them, a black coastline they have never seen. Cliffs rising out of the ocean like walls. They have been lied to. Pause. This is the real story of Gallipoli. To understand Gallipoli, you first need to understand the world that created it. By 1914, Europe was a powder keg. One assassination in Sarajevo was enough to drag every major power on Earth into war. Secret alliances meant that if one nation fell, they all fell, like dominoes across a continent. On one side, Britain, France, Russia. On the other, Germany, Austria, Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Seas controlled the Dardanelles, a narrow strait of water 1 mile wide, separating Europe from Asia. If the Allies could take Constantinople, they could end the war early. It was, on paper, a brilliant idea. The man behind the plan was Winston Churchill, 40 years old, ambitious, and absolutely convinced he had found the move that would make him a hero. His strategy was bold. Force the Dardanelles, capture Constantinople, knock the Ottomans out of the war. In February 1915, British and French warships steamed into the strait and opened fire. The Ottomans had lined the cliffs with forts. The Allies bombarded them for days and achieved almost nothing. The Ottomans had also laid minefields across the strait. 3 Allied battleships were sunk in a single day. Churchill refused to accept defeat. If ships couldn't do it, men would. The Australia and New Zealand Army Corps, the Anzacs, had been training in Egypt. Young men who thought this was going to be the adventure of their lives. The Anzacs were supposed to land on a wide, flat beach. Pause. In the darkness, the boats drifted off course. 1 mile north of the planned beach, they stepped onto shore and looked up at a sheer cliff. This was not what they had been briefed. The terrain was a nightmare. Steep ravines, jagged ridges, scrub so thick a man couldn't see 3 feet ahead. And at the top, Ottoman soldiers who had heard them coming. The firing started immediately. Men who had been standing in water 30 seconds ago were now clawing their way up a cliff face under live fire. Officers screamed at them to move. Some ran, some climbed, some died before they left the waterline. But by 9 a.m., against every conceivable odd, the Anzacs had fought their way off the beach. Pause. It was one of the most extraordinary acts of courage in military history. Pause. And it was only the beginning. His name was Mustafa Kemal, 34 years old, an Ottoman officer whose division was not even assigned to the initial defense. When he heard the gunfire, he didn't wait for orders. He rode to the front himself.